Alright, so that one's fine, but. Oy, almost. We're almost there at the point where I can put some pressure on that leg. Right now, it's still not there, so I guess another day. So, yeah, I've missed a couple of days here. It's day 13 for me here, and I've pretty much been bedridden, was sick, doing a bunch of stuff. In the middle of the night, I had a nosebleed and blood all over some stuff. Not gonna show you that because it's pretty gross. I'm struggling here. My body's shutting down, but we're gonna try to do some stuff today. Still got my crutches here, so I do have still a little bit of mobility there. But there's also a snowstorm today. So can't really do that much. Basically, gonna be a phone banking day. Hopefully, I get some good peoples on the phones. So let's get to it. Hi, Suetonius. My name is YJ, and I'm an unpaid volunteer with Andrew Yang's presidential campaign. I was just wondering if you had about 60 seconds answer a few questions about the election. All right, great. Uh, so just on a scale of first to fifth of your top candidates, where would you rank Andrew Yang? Yes, sir. Okay, great. And then what is it about Andrew that puts you in your top five? Right, right. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things too. I love it's like he's not emboldened to anybody, like or he doesn't have to listen to the big corporations or anything. He's literally just by himself. Yeah. Yep, yep. And then if you don't mind, just who are your top two choices? Hmm. So basically, just whoever gets the nomination, right? Okay, okay. Um, are there specific policies that are most important to you? I mean, a lot of times, like those are like those two issues are basically they go hand in hand in my opinion. It's like um, I don't know if you how much you know about Andrew, but the reason I think he's one of the best candidates for the upcoming elections is because he's talking about changing the whole rules of our situation, where essentially he wants to give everyone $1,000 a month, free and clear, to let them make their own choices on what they think. They people know what they want, they need. So by giving it to everybody, it essentially lets them make the choices of like where instead of the government saying like, oh, you need this for food stamps, you need this for government housing, you need this for it's like no, no, no. Let's actually just make it to where you make your own decisions. Like we'll give you 1,000, whatever you think you need. You best know how to fix your own problems. So I think that's great. It's also essentially um, he's one of the ones that would change. They'd be like a game changer for a lot of people because um, essentially what it is like how do you fix poverty? How do you fix a lot of these issues? It's best easiest way is to just give people money. And so when people have money, instead of saying like, oh, we're going to help with like making this easier, that easier, it's like no, 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 give them money, and then they can essentially do, they know how to fix their problems. Um, there's that, and then you also mentioned a lot of like criminal justice reform and all that. Like Andrew's for that as well, where he essentially, it's ridiculous that there's a such thing as even private prisons. Why are companies making money off of the whole prison system? That's just an absurd concept. So he's in favor of banning that. Not just that, but also a lot of people are in prison for things like, low level drug offenses like marijuana and all that, where he wants to completely legalize marijuana, um, and then not just legalize it, but also presidential pardon all the people who are in jail for low level non aggressive things, because it's like it makes no sense that it's legal now for like white people in certain areas. Why not just white people? It's like it's legal now in certain states. It doesn't make sense that it's basically holding a lot of people back. So So yeah, basically, pardon, because pardons usually go to rich weirdos, essentially. So hey, it's like, how about we actually pardon some people that deserve it? People that are in jail for no like reasons that are just kind of dumb. So there's that. Um, and then he's also for decriminalizing a lot of different things like opioids and things like that, just because um, people don't really seek help if they know that if you're caught with any big drug, it's like instead of going to jail, it's like let's put them in rehab, let's put them in a place, maybe like a safe injection site, so that they can get better. Instead of just going straight to jail, then the people are afraid of asking for help and all that. So that's another thing he's in favor for. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things. hmm I mean, that's essentially what he's talking about with UBI. When you give everyone $1,000 a month, it's a trickle up economy, because it's like when you put that much money into a community, essentially they're going to start building things and fixing their own problems too. It's not just like one person; it's the whole community comes together and says like, okay, now we have like a few $1 million, $20 million in our community. That's like one of the best ways to even like build black business. So it's like exactly. Yeah, I mean that's one of those things. It's like when people have money to essentially invest in their own communities, they can say like, "Oh, this is the type of business we need," and that's like also when you have money, that lets you think about other things other than just surviving. You know what I mean? So it's not about just like it's not yeah, it's not like because yeah, you can't really think about entrepreneurship or community building or any of those things if you can't put food on the table. But if you can, then exactly. Yeah. So that right. But if that burden is taken off your shoulders, then you can think about like, okay, maybe I'll open up like a barbershop or a bakery or whatever it is that you've been thinking about doing in the community, but then we're just kind of afraid to. And then at least now, like I'll try it, put some risk out there, and then if it doesn't do well, it's okay. At least I'm not going to starve to death. So yeah, I think UBI is an amazing solution to a lot of different things. Um, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of different candidates that are running and that are great. Do you think I can get your email and then I can just give you some information about Andrew? All right, I got you. And then one last question. Would you be interested in like just grabbing a cup of coffee or something with one of our local organizers? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I'll write in the notes. It's like I hop. All right. Perfect. All right. So yeah, you were asking something. Perfect. So yeah, he actually has a fantastic interview with. I don't know if you've watched the Breakfast Club, but yeah, he was on there a couple times. He's got really good ideas and stuff on there, and then he's also done interviews with like Joe Rogan. That's all online, so I'd encourage you to check those out. Hi, you too. You have a good one. See you. All right, so he was actually super nice, and now I have to send an email with these links. Hi, Anita. My name is YJ, and I'm an unpaid volunteer with the Andrew Yang presidential campaign. I was just wondering if you had about 60 seconds to answer a few questions about the election. Basically, just like what do you think of Andrew and his policies and things? No worries. Yeah. So basically, Andrew's a guy that's running for president on the Democratic side. He's running because he kind of saw where the country was headed, and he didn't think that was appropriate for the world that we're basically leaving to his kids and stuff. So he decided to make a run for office. Um, so you haven't heard anything about him? Okay, yeah. He's 44. Or actually, sorry, he just had a birthday, 45. Yeah, his main thing that he's running on essentially is a thing called universal basic income. So it's a thing where so sure, no worries. So his main policy proposal is a thing called universal basic income. Essentially, what that is $1,000 a month from um, for every person that's 18 years and older. And the way we pay for it essentially is right now, big tech companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, Netflix, and the such are paying zero or near zero in taxes. So essentially, they're sucking up billions and billions of dollars of commerce every year and then paying zero in taxes. So what he's suggesting is we start taxing those big companies, and then with that gives just a tiny sliver to every American 18 years and older, and that we can afford $1,000 a month for everybody. Yes, it stacks on top of Social Security. Yeah, I mean, he actually has more policies than any other person running. He's got over 140 that are on his website. Um, are there specific issues that Yeah, yeah, I know. He's what I love about him essentially is that he's looked into everything. So he looks into not just the surface level symptoms of things that are going on, but more the underlying problems and issues, and then tries to find solutions for those. So, are there any specific things that you value the most, or policies that interest you about candidates? Okay, yeah, yeah. So what Andrew's in favor of there is universal healthcare, essentially for everybody, make it affordable for everyone. Um, Pretty much making it to where we all, so not exactly like Medicare for all. So he's not in favor of banning private insurance. So it's more about outcompeting the current existing things out there. So we put out a plan and make sure that it outcompetes everyone else, and then everyone moves over towards that, and then making it affordable. Right now, the reason we're paying so much in healthcare is that the the healthcare system is not designed to make us feel better, and it's not meant to make us healthier or stronger. The healthcare system literally is designed to make money to drug manufacturers, device companies, insurance companies, and so on and so forth. And a lot of those big companies, have pretty much bought and sold the government. They've have lobbyists in place to make it very difficult for innovation and actually access. Um, and so he's about going in there and changing up the laws, making sure that people have access to affordable health care, because right now, again, it's not designed for actually making people healthier. It's designed to make money, and so he wants to kind of go in there and change um, the incentives for those companies, and even not just changing the incentives, also, but making it to where the government can come in, step in, and negotiate drug prices, and then if they need to, use carrots and sticks to move those companies over to make it that humanity is the first priority instead of the bottom line, the almighty dollar. Are there any other issues that speak to you that you're most focused on? Right. So, like I said, his very first proposal thing he's really pushing is $1,000 a month for everybody. So, right now, what he's saying is like, yeah, other people are pushing for a minimum wage increase, $15 or whatever that is, but essentially that wouldn't matter to a lot of people who um, so the people who are retired or people who are primary caregivers, people who are stay-at-home moms and all that stuff. So that work is not really, um, a $15 minimum wage doesn't really do anything for them. So what he's proposing again is $1,000 to everyone, free and clear, so that they can fix their, because everyone knows. you give that people $1,000, they know how to fix their own problems. They know where that money's going to go towards, instead of the government saying like you have to spend it on this, you have to spend X amount on this, Y amount on that, and all that. He's saying it's just better to give everyone $100,000, and then they'll know how to fix their own problems. And then from there, so the Medicare stuff, it's universal healthcare for everyone. But again, it's just fixing the problems, because the underlying problems are more about the drug companies, device companies, and healthcare industry in general, not really considering the people first. It's more about their bottom line. They're essentially trying to make money, and that is the only thing that really matters to them. Um, so it you're right, you're right. So it's moving the incentives from that, and then moving it towards a human centered economy. So making it to where we actually factor in, like, are people healthier? Are they stronger? Are they more, mentally healthier? All those type of things, and making sure that that is the factor. That is the number one thing that we care about. That we hold these companies liable for those things, and then making money if they do that on the side. Perfect. So we can do both these things. Yeah. So just curious, did you have a candidate that you were thinking about and who's like on the top of your list? Okay, no worries. It's Andrew Yang. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's kind of a um he doesn't really have a name, because he, again, was um just a businessman, and then decided to run for office because he saw the country that's coming. So what's essentially happening now is that a lot of different jobs are being automated away, and we're losing jobs faster than we're making them. So what he saw is a future where his kids wouldn't be able to really, get a better life. So, in, like, I believe it was 1940s, you had a 90% chance of doing better than your parents. If, when you're born, your kids had a 90% chance of doing better. By 1980, now that's a 50-50 shot, and that's steadily declining. So this is like one of the first times where we don't know if the kids nowadays are going to have a better life than their parents did. We're actually right, right. The hope is definitely, yeah, that they do, but it's just job prospects and a lot of other things where are looking dim. So that's one of the reasons he's also saying that $1,000 a month can help free up a lot of that mental bandwidth of, because when people can't pay the bills and do all these things, it basically inhibits them. So when we have $1,000 a month, then we can really start pushing to do things that we want to do. It kind of divorces income from work, so we can kind of do the work we want to do, even if it doesn't necessarily pay what we want. If we wanted to be a teacher, it's like, that's great, you can be a teacher, and still find success in that, and um, a career, because the money and the you're teaching because you want to teach, you want to make an impact, not necessarily because it's um, you're afraid that you won't be able to live off of that. Do you check emails? Is there a way I can email you about different events and things, and some more information about Andrew? Okay, no worries. Right. I mean, that's one of those things where Andrew is basically saying that $1,000 a month would be a game changer for a lot of people. And it stacks on top of Social Security and all that. So it lets people. Um, we're essentially going to create a community where, um, like, people can retire with dignity. They don't have to work until the day they die. At Walmart or wherever it is, they can literally, um, you know, uh, fend for themselves, or not just fend, but you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah, right. And that's the thing. That's like, um, we don't have to be in that society, because what he's saying essentially is that economic value and intrinsic human value are not tied. So, right now, if you're not um, essentially contributing to the economy, people will say you have no value. But we know that's not true. It's not, you're not defined by how much money you make or what you can provide. It's like, no, no, no. We all have value as people, and that's so much more important than what we can provide. So um, we're trying to move in that direction. I think Andrew's like one of the few people who really see that as the cornerstone of their candidacy. He's really pushing for like 21st century ideas of what it means to be a person that or to be an American. Really, would you be interested in grabbing coffee? Maybe one of our local organizers. Maybe they can talk further about any issues you have. Yeah, yeah, they can meet you, or maybe a coffee shop nearby, or whatever. Yeah, yeah, they could come pick you up. Yeah, that no worries. We could have somebody come to you and then talk with you and all that. All right, perfect. All right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you talking with me, Anita. All right. You have a good one. Bye bye.
I actually had a lot of good conversations today, so that was really cool. Phone bank for a few hours, and then um, basically it's a little late now, so can't really be phone banking, but we'll try again tomorrow. Basically, do the same thing. All right, guys. This was a long one, I know, just because basically I showed the actual conversations I had with some people. Uh, yeah, really really cool. It's working. I know I'm definitely making an impact with certain people here, getting them if they know absolutely nothing to move them over a little bit, and if they are kind of and they're like yeah, to move them into more of like oh yeah that's cool. He's got a lot of cool ideas because essentially we just want them to come out to an event, because Yang will sell himself. So all right, guys, keep at it. Help me help everyone out here. Phone banking, text banking, whatever it is you guys can do because it's getting close. It's getting close. All right, guys. Peace out. I will catch you tomorrow.